Our interesting idiom is to spill the tea. This means to share gossip or exciting news. For example, "Come on, spill the tea. What happened at the party last night?"
Our interesting idiom is to bite the bullet. This means to face a difficult or unpleasant situation with courage and endurance. For example, "I don't want to work overtime, but I'll have to bite the bullet and finish this project."
Our interesting idiom is to go the extra mile. This means to make a special effort to achieve something or to please someone. For example, our customer service team always goes the extra mile to ensure customer satisfaction.
Our interesting idiom is to hit different. This means to have a particularly strong or unique emotional impact. For example, after all the problems we've had in our relationship, listening to that song now just hits different.
Our interesting idiom is to pick your brain. This means to ask someone questions to get their ideas or advice. For example, "I'm working on a new project and wanted to pick your brain about your experience."
Our interesting idiom is to live rent-free in someone's head. This means to be constantly thought about by someone, often in an annoying or obsessive way. For example, "You need to stop thinking about your ex-girlfriend. She's living rent-free in your head."
Our interesting idiom is to get cold feet. This means to suddenly become too nervous to do something that you had planned to do. For example, she was going to audition for the play, but she got cold feet at the last minute.
Our interesting idiom is to be on the same page. This means to be in agreement or have the same understanding about something. For example, "Before we start, let's make sure we're all on the same page regarding the project goals."
Our interesting idiom is to read the room. This means to understand the general mood or unspoken opinions of a group of people. For example, "During the interview, I wanted to tell a joke, but I read the room and realized it would not be appreciated."
Our interesting idiom is to be the spitting image of someone. This means to look exactly like another person. For example, "She's the spitting image of her mother when she was younger."
Our interesting idiom is to throw someone under the bus. This means to blame someone else to avoid getting into trouble. For example, "My colleague threw me under the bus when the boss wanted to know who was responsible for the project's failure."
Our interesting idiom is to shoot the breeze. This means to have a casual, relaxed conversation. For example, "After our meeting, we stayed for a bit to shoot the breeze about our weekend plans."
Our interesting idiom is to have a whale of a time. This means to have a very enjoyable time. For example, "We had a whale of a time on holiday in Spain."
Our interesting idiom is to throw shade. This means to publicly criticize or express contempt or disrespect for someone. For example, "He threw shade at my cooking by loudly asking for a glass of water after his first bite."
Our interesting idiom is to take with a grain of salt. This means to understand that something is unlikely to be completely true or accurate. For example, "You should take his stories with a grain of salt. He often lies."